Hello to everyone in Growth Day. Such an honor to be here. So today I'm going to focus on momentum in leadership. Here's the deal. As leaders, all of us, right? All of us are responsible for creating momentum. And when I say leaders, it could be leader of your company, your organization. It could be leader of your home, right? It could be leadership of yourself and your personal goals and calling, right? But as leaders, we are responsible for creating momentum. And this includes in times of setback, right? Your teams, people around you, people that maybe are your community online or customers you coach or your teams in your company, they need to feel momentum in order to not feel hopeless most of the time, right? And a lot of people can skip over this as a leader and cannot fully see the impact of it. And it's super important. In Growing It Cosmetics, we started, as some of you know, if you're familiar with a little part of my story, we started it in my living room. And for many years, I couldn't afford to hire anybody. And then we started building and building and building. And we got to over 1,000 employees before I sold the company. But in that journey, I had a lot of people join my company for less money than they were making in their current jobs because they weren't feeling not just a vision, right? It's important to have the why. It's important to have a vision, but a lot of people can talk about a great vision. You also have to be able to generate momentum around that vision that people can feel. And when I look back, on these key leadership lessons around momentum that I'm going to share today, a big part of why people were coming to join my vision for It Cosmetics, it wasn't just the vision, it was that they weren't feeling momentum around it where they were at currently, right? And here's the thing that's beautiful is momentum is free. And if you really figure out how to generate it and become the master of your own momentum and the momentum on your team, as a leader, it can be huge in your own growth, in your own progress, in achieving the vision for success that you have for yourself and also for your company or for your community online. And so momentum is so important when it comes to your teams. We all feel momentum, right? We all kind of know what that is or what that feels like. A really great kind of simple example is, when you're watching a basketball game or a football game on television, if one team is dominating the whole game, well, in that case, you might be able to say, well, maybe they have more talent on their team. Maybe they're stronger players. Maybe they have a stronger coaching staff, right? But if you have two teams neck and neck the entire game, right? Literally the scores neck and neck the entire game. And then you're in the final 2 minutes, 3 minutes of the fourth quarter in football. And all of a sudden, one team, boom, touchdown, boom, they're in field goal range, boom. You're like, what's going on, right? The whole game was neck and neck. And now all of a sudden, the momentum shifts in that last 3 minutes, the last 2 minutes, and one team starts dominating. And you're like, I don't understand. How is this quarterback throwing pass after pass after pass? How, and the wide receivers catching? How is this momentum, right? And you feel it. And that's when all the fans go crazy. That's when the people on the opposite team start crying. That's in the stands, right? So we know that feeling of momentum. Momentum can be contagious, right? Just like energy is contagious. Momentum can propel us forward. But also, we've all often in our lives, I should say most all of us have most likely felt momentum in the wrong direction, right? When things just start going not our way. And we start propelling in the direction that we don't want to go. And everything just seems to start spiraling, right? So I'm going to talk today about momentum during setbacks. It's really easy when we get another rejection or another no, or we put something that we create or ideate out into the world and it doesn't go our way. Or we launch a big coaching program and we hope, we get a whole bunch of new clients and then we don't, right? And we're trying to motivate ourselves and our team through those setbacks. And this, I believe, is one of the most fundamental laws of leadership, is knowing how to reframe setbacks with yourself and with your team in order to create positive momentum right? You're like, well, how can a setback be a positive momentum, right? Are you just going to kind of like deny that it happened or put some kind of positive spin on it? No. What I would say is no. I would say it's important to acknowledge the truth, acknowledge, okay, to my teams, for example, the first several years, you guys, we got so many rejections along the way, right? I believed in our products. I was super clear. I had very big clarity around the vision I wanted for the company. I was, adamant about making sure everyone on my team knew that vision with crystal clear clarity the whole time. But then what would happen would be everyone is fired up, everyone's pumped up. We have a big retailer presentation, right? And we go there and it's a no, which right away can feel like a failure. And this happened over and over and over. And I was able to get seasoned sales team to join my vision and join the company. I was able to hire people that came from much larger companies that were in all these beauty retailers. They come and risk their livelihoods and their future on joining my vision. And we go into a store that they were already in their past jobs, and they're saying no to us. Right? They're saying you're not the right fit, or we don't think we'll make money from you. And that can be really painful when you're in a situation where you're the leader, where people are looking to you for inspiration. And those moments are so critical that you reframe what happened in an authentic and true way. And you literally generate the kind of momentum that you need to have to get to your ultimate vision, right? Super critical, you guys. So few people do this as leaders. So let me give you a real example, right? We go into a Sephora, and even though our brand is doing really well and we're having sales success everywhere, they said no to us for 6 years. So we had, even by the time we created, success on QVC and other areas, we were still getting rejection after rejection after rejection. So I want to share how I handled that, how I shifted the momentum as a leader, because this is the difference, I believe, one of the biggest differences in your team staying with you and people wanting to be around you, and people maybe working for less money than they could go and get somewhere else because you just can't afford to pay them more yet, right? For me, it wasn't that I wanted to pay them less. I couldn't afford to pay them more until we grew and grew and grew, right? So in the case of getting another big rejection, I would acknowledge it and say, okay, so we got a no. We will get a yes in the future. I believe that. And here's what I want us to focus on as a team. And this is what I would say to my leadership team and all of our employees. While they said no again, or while this was a rejection, it could come in many forms again, right? Our vision is so important. Our vision is so needed. We are aiming to do big things. We are aiming to do something in the beauty industry that has never been done before, right? And so I'd explain that and remind everyone of the vision. And I would say, here's the thing, you guys. I authentically feel bad for that retailer that just said no to us. And I feel really bad for all their customers that are getting robbed of being able to see our products on the shelf and learn about them and discover them. And I feel bad for them. And I would reframe what had happened, right? Instead of saying, I feel bad for us that we just got rejected, right? Which would start a spiral of negative momentum. I would talk about our vision. I would acknowledge that the rejection happened, that the setback happened, but I would remind everyone of our vision, of why it is so important, why we're doing what we're doing, about how often when you're doing something that's novel or hasn't ever been done before, of course, a lot of experts aren't going to get it because they're only used to seeing things that have been done before, right? So maybe they can't imagine it succeeding because they've never seen something like what we're doing succeed because it's never been done before. And I would really reframe it. And then I would talk about this just passion for what we were building and creating, to the point where I didn't feel bad for us, we got rejected. I felt bad for all those customers that were going to miss out on even discovering how great our products were because that retailer said no. And I'd feel bad for the retailer because they're going to miss out on giving their customers something really amazing, right? So I would really focus on that and reframe the rejection And what that helps do is, it's true. It's not about denying what happened, right? It's like, yes, we got a no. And it's a reminder of our vision and how special it is. It's also really sad for them, right? And it was to the point where we built this resiliency around rejection, but we also built momentum. And all of a sudden, a no that happened or a rejection that happened didn't feel like negative momentum. It was almost this reminder of the positive momentum we were building, and kind of use that as fuel. I'm so excited to be here, and especially with this topic this month, advanced mindset and resilience. When I think about, my days of going from working as a waitress at Denny's and my whole journey of having ideas or hopes or dreams, to launching one of those dreams in my living room, to getting tons of no's and going through so much setback. When I think about like, what are those defining things that help me level up in mindset and also stay resilient and keep going after what I knew was part of my calling? And really, it comes down to one of the big things that it comes down to is me being able to change my relationship in my own mindset with rejection. Rejection is victory. I want you to write that down, and I want you to think about this idea. Okay, here we go. How many people, right, stay in their comfort zone because they're afraid of rejection, they're afraid of failure, they're afraid of people seeing them start small? How many people stay in their comfort zone forever? How many people talk themselves out of their own truth forever and never actually become the person they're born to be, right? If you are someone, and I'm going to say one of the courageous people, one of the brave people who is stepping into your calling, who is stepping into your purpose or multiple purposes in this life, if you're one of the brave people doing that, you're going to get rejection after rejection after rejection. It just comes, right? Think about every person in history that's done anything great. Think about everyone living right now that's a great example of accomplishment or impact or inspiration, right? And you just look at their lives, even the greatest, constant rejections on their journey. So what I learned to do early on that I really want to challenge you to do today is to literally see rejection as victory. And what I mean by that is, if you are one of the courageous people who is brave enough to literally be on the path to your calling and to be stepping into the person you're born to be in this lifetime, every time you get a rejection, it's a reminder that you're one of those brave people who's literally doing it. Like, you're one of those brave people stepping into your calling. And you guys, I had to flip the switch in my head, because when I started It Cosmetics, and I can give a million other examples in my personal life, in my years before launching the company, in my journey of launching Believe It, my book, there's so many examples of this. But the big one that stands out to me is when I launched this dream in my living room, and I was not ready for it to get no traction. I didn't realize, I thought if my product's really good and I have a great vision, a great why behind it, I believe in it, I just thought, of course, it's going to sell. It's going to turn into a successful company. I was not ready or prepared in any way for the hundreds and hundreds of no's that I would get the first several years. For experts that I used to put on a pedestal to say they didn't believe in it. And I wasn't ready for that. And when I started getting no after no, obviously we've all had forms of rejection in our life. It hurts. It's painful. It's easy to think, well, maybe my gut is wrong. Maybe I don't have what it takes. All those things, right? And I eventually had this big aha moment where I knew, because even though I was getting hundreds of no's, even though this went on for years, you guys, before we ever had any signs of success for our company, every time I would check in with my gut, it kept saying, you're supposed to be doing this, right? You're supposed to be doing this. I felt it. And so because of that, what I decided to do, and I had this big aha moment around it, was I flipped my mindset around rejection. And I just made the decision that, you know what?
because I know I'm supposed to be putting this idea out into the world, this passion out into the world, this mission out into the world that I believed in so much when I was creating my company. I believed in that. So because of that, I just decided I'm a person who's actually doing that, even when it's hard, even when it's not rewarded, even when no one's buying and we got no orders again today, right? All those times I just flipped the switch. Okay, every time I got another no, every time someone said you're not the right fit, or we don't think you're going to do well in our stores, or every day we got no orders, rejection comes in so many forms, right? I literally just decided, okay, this rejection is a victory, right? It's another victory because I'm one of the brave few who's literally going after my calling, who's putting my ideas out into the world, who's showing up to serve with my whole heart the best way I know how. And when I flipped this idea that rejection is a victory, it literally helped me fear it less, right? And helped me become a little more fearless and really showing up for the reasons why I was there to show up for, which was to serve other people and to put a product out in the world I really believed in. So imagine if you can flip, right? Because I know we're talking advanced mindset and resilience, and this is so simple, yet how many people do this, right? If you can flip in your head every time you get a no, every time you get a setback. Let's say you go post something today and no one likes it. like there's the simplest things that make us feel rejected. And sometimes we let those turn into self-doubt in our own head. I'm challenging you today to flip the switch. Rejection is a victory. Oh, someone just said no to you again. Oh, a client just left. Oh, whatever happened, right? Just literally flip it in your head as a reminder that you are one of the brave few who is courageous enough to be going after your calling in life. So rejection is a victory because all it is a reminder that you're one of those people. It's a victory that you're one of those people, right? That you're going to be on this path to becoming the person you're born to be. And if that's you, rejection is just going to come with the territory. Anybody who puts out ideas or works or their heart, right? Anyone who does that, who's brave enough to do that, it comes with rejection. So rejection is victory.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.